Hello, guys. My name is Ntombi Mlayani, and welcome to my first podcast. So, this podcast would be more about skincare, self care, and anything, self love. So, in this first episode, I'd like to just cover my own, story and background with my own skin. But before we talk about that, I don't have a name for this podcast yet, and I have a couple of names. Well, I have a couple of ideas of what I should name it. One of them being Unclogged, Poreful, Pause and All, and Prolific Part. What do you guys think? And I'm sure by the time you guys hear this, I would have already come up with the name. I would have already decided what I want to go for. But I really like all these names, but I'm really not sure which one sticks out for me that much. But Prolific Podcast sounds really amazing. So does Unclogged, because you basically need to unclog a lot of misinformation about skin and how we should, get to the best skin. And is the best skin a real thing? Like, is good skin meaning like you don't have pores, you don't have any form of acne, you don't have any form of hyperpigmentation? And because honestly, that is, not very natural. So we need to unclog and basically debunk and figure things out, because a lot of things can be perfect in a different way. Perfect doesn't really mean perfect. You can be imperfectly perfect. So can your skin. So yeah, I think that might stick at unclogged. Hey, I think that's it. I think Unclogged would be the name of this podcast. So, in this first episode, you guys, I will be talking about my own skincare journey and my relationship with my skin and where, I come from and where we're headed, me and my skin, me and the skincare journey. So, I started developing a lot of acne during puberty, and mine was really bad compared to the people that I used to, compared to my friends rather, and people my age. I had really oily, bulging acne, and that's how people used to know me basically as, don't be, oh, the one with pimples. And so, at first, because I started developing a lot of acne and pimples around the age of 13. So at that age, I knew it was normal, right? Because we had just learned about puberty and what happens when you are facing puberty. For me at that time, that was completely normal. And, some of my friends were actually really, okay, not really okay with it, but they weren't mean or anything. Like, oh, wow, you're growing, you finally hit puberty, la la la, you know. I mean, along with other things that were really uncomfortable, because growing up can be super uncomfortable, but like, with acne, because it's like in your face more than anything else, some people were really nice, some people really weren't. So, yeah. So when I got to high school, that's when now you start becoming self-conscious. You wanna look and feel good, and that's when my acne really started aggravating, because I was spending even more time in the sun, because I used to play a lot of netball. And that's when people would, like, give you unsolicited advice. So with that, people would start telling me, oh, you should lay off on the chocolate, because I really used to have a sweet tooth back then, still do. So people would start saying stuff like, no, you need to, not eat so much chocolate, not eat so much anything sweet or anything too oily. And at that time, you're not really obsessed with like eating healthy and anything like that. Imagine me at the age of like 16 telling my parents that I want to start eating healthier. Like, you're gonna eat what we cook, like that's the response I would get. And understandably, I mean, no one's just gonna cater for me only just because I have issues with my skin. And also, that was like the only impression we had back in the days, that if you have pimples for a lengthy amount of time, then you're the problem. You're not taking care of yourself. Your girl, or is it like, yeah, your girl has a buildup of bile, something like that, basically unenyong. And I remember just being so hard on myself. I would constantly, get rid of, like, I would always detox, and the acne would just not go away. So I remember one day telling myself that I'm gonna, basically convince people that my pimples are getting better, even though they aren't. I would, like, sometimes like one pimple would disappear from my face, and I'd always let my friends know, oh my gosh, I tried out, into so like I tried to sunlight the green bar and it really worked. My acne is clearing up, you know, because friends are like reading, it's like, yeah, we see it. And you know, me and them both know that there's actually no difference in my skin. My skin looks exactly the same. So yeah, that's how it started. That's how now this was me, like basically kind of like taking back my power. I wouldn't want people to tell me something about me. I would want people to, well, I want me to tell them something about me and say, no, listen, my skin looks nice. My pimples are better than what they were a week. So yeah, so that happened, but my skin still wasn't getting better. And so I remember right after high school, that's when I started, you know, being a little bit more independent. I started making my own money. That's when I started doing hair. And so whenever I get like 200 rands, I would go to Clicks, to a nearby Clicks, and buy things. I don't even remember where I found out that you need to have basically a 3-step, not even 3 steps, but I followed the 3-step only for your skincare, which would be cleansing, toning, and moisturizing. And as long as your moisturizer has a little bit of SPF, that's enough. And so I was like, okay, cool, let me do that. And then I remember buying products from Clicks. It's the Clicks skincare collection. That's what basically, you know, opened doors for me in my skincare. And that's what made me fall in love with my skin and find out more about my skin. So yeah, I did that. I got the products. My skin honestly started clearing up. It really did. So yeah, speaking of SPF now, we're gonna talk about SPF. I used to have such a love-hate relationship with SPF because the only time my parents would buy it for me, or the only time I would convince them to buy it for me, is when we're only going on a school camp, because they'd say, you know, buy this, that, and the other, and sunscreen, and that's the only time I'd use it. And I remember how it would give me such a ugly white cast, especially like, you know, with us black people. And you know, me and my friends would look so purple, so, you know, not really us. So that's when I was like, ugh, sunscreen's probably not for me. I really don't like it. Plus I'm black people don't really need sunscreen. And that is a lie, guys. I need to unclog that for you. As a black person, I know your melanin will fight for you, but you need to protect it. As much as black don't crack, I hate to tell you, black does crack. So you do need a lot of SPF. And I mean, in another episode, I'm going to talk about the different kinds of SPF there is, and which one I'd recommend, and which one you should try out, and then make your own decision. So yeah, that's how the journey started, and ever since then, that's when I started falling in love with my skin. But before that, you know, like I said in the beginning, people like giving me unsolicited advice. Some people would blame me for the state of my skin. I remember someone was like, you need to stay out of the sun. And I would avidly stay away from the sun. If I'm gonna step out, I'd put on a hat, an umbrella. Like, I would just stay out of it. And I remember my skin just not getting better. Sorry. And so I remember one lady from church told me to use polish. It's not really furniture polish. It's like outdoor polish. This would be now for your stoop outside. She told me that I need to use that. I need to use the one that's caramel because it's gonna be a little closer to my skin tone. And so I did. And it reeked so badly. I've never smelled like a grandmother's house before, you know. And it smelled so bad, and I would literally feel it burn my skin. And I stopped using it. And up until this moment, me doing that to myself really hurts me. And someone advising me on that, it's like, what kind of nonsense is that? Why would I put something that belongs on the outside onto my face? You know, something that you use on like hard cement on my face, on my delicate, soft face. And so I remember the very same lady also told me, and I'm so sorry guys if this is TMI, but she told me to use my morning pea on my face, and that might help with clearing my acne. That sounded way too disgusting for me, so I didn't do it. It just did not make sense for me. I didn't do it. So that's when I stopped taking advice from people. I would avidly avoid people from there on. People were like, no, you need to do that, you need to do this. I just wouldn't do it because I knew that my issue isn't that bad. And even if it is that bad, I'm going to go to a doctor and they will let me know. So I remember I started using my family's our medical aid, and I think I might have even exhausted it at some point because I constantly went to the doctor. I found out what was going on. And then I went to a doctor. I don't even remember what age I was, but this is now right before I discovered, steps on like what you need to do to take care of your skin. So I think that doctor was more of like an entry level doctor. He was a junior. I think he might have even been doing his practicals or something. And so he told me that I need to use benzoic peroxide all over my face. Yeah, all over my face. I use it now, but I spot treat my pimples with it because it's so harsh. It leaves your skin with a dark mark and dry and just, quenched. Not even quenched, thirsty, and it needs to be quenched. So I remember I started using that and it burnt my face so badly. This was now, I think, in high school. Yeah, that was in high school because I remember I needed to go on a leadership camp, and because we're in the sun and everything, I thought this might work. And I remember him telling me, though, do not use this with the light on or during the day. If you're gonna apply it, put it on and then make sure you're going to bed, and you're not even gonna put your phone on or anything with light on. So I just thought that's kind of ridiculous. How can I not apply this product and not be exposed to any form of light? It doesn't make sense. And so I did the total opposite. I put the product on during the day. Yeah, I put it on during the day, and my skin started burning. I would have a streak of burn here on my neck. I remember my friends even thought it was a hickey. I'm like, it's not a hickey, I'm burned, you guys. They're like, oh, it's the sun from the camp. I'm like, no, touch it. It literally felt scabby and rough, and my skin never needed love more than it needed it then, but I didn't know what kind of love to give it. So I remember just throwing away the products. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try something else. This time I'm just gonna go to the pharmacy and ask whoever is working the front desk to just recommend anything for me. And people did their best. People recommended what may have worked for them when they were at my age, or what worked for their daughters or their younger siblings and stuff like that. So it was a very difficult journey, but right now, hence I started this podcast. I will be not really educating you guys, but just giving you guys advice. Take it, don't take it, but do consider it, on how to take care of your skin. And my skin type has become, and I say has become because this is not the skin type I used to have when I was starting off. My skin type is dry and acne prone skin. So I do have dry and acne prone skin and low-key blemish prone. So hydration would be really key for a skin type like mine. But I'll definitely be also touching base on other sort of skin types, because I was an oily skin babe at some point. But I think overusing of products, you see these viral things on TikTok, these products and these steps. You think, oh, let me try that out, because I was also at some points trying everything out, and you need to figure it out. You need to figure out what works for you. If you can go to a dermatologist, if you can afford going to one, find out what your skin type is, and just take it from there, honestly. So yeah, that is all for today from Unclogged. I'll see you guys, see you and hear from you guys on the next episode. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back to my first podcast.